All right, here we go. Welcome into the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. A happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Safe travels out there. If you were out late last night, one of the biggest drinking nights of the year, hope you're recovering well, and I hope all of you have a fantastic day. You take down some good food with your friends and family members. I know I'm about to do that as well. So a great show on tap for everybody today, and a great slate of NFL games for us today, too. The early game is going to be Green Bay Packers against the Detroit Lions. After that, Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys, and then the nightcap, Cincinnati Bengals against the Baltimore Ravens. No game for the Niners today. No game for the Niners on Black Friday. That's going to be Eagles, Bears, but we will be doing a watch party for Sunday's game, Niners, Browns in Cleveland. You have Myles Garrett, who already has 18 sacks this year, going up against this Niners offense. Brock Purdy looking to flush some of the struggles that he had on Monday Night Football against the Carolina Panthers, and Shedeur Sanders going to get his second career start with the Cleveland Browns. So here's what we have coming up on the show. Not a single Niners fan saw this coming. What do I mean by that? We'll get into it here. Niners injury news going into this Browns matchup as well. And in case you missed the news last night, I talked about it here on the 49ers Report. San Francisco signed a former All-Pro linebacker, and they needed to bring somebody in, and I actually like the move that they did make. Before we dive into all of that, a reminder, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We have built a really special Niners community right here on YouTube, and that's why we're well north of 180,000 subscribers. Plus, I'm bringing you the heat every single day year-round with nonstop Niners coverage. So if all that sounds great and you want to be a more informed Niners fan, lock us in and hit that subscribe button today. Let's begin here. Not a single Niners fan saw this coming with how this player played last year and much of this year. Who am I talking about here? Third-year safety Jier Brown. And coming into 2025, the pressure was on him. This is the second to last year of his contract. He had an opportunity to really seize a big role for himself to start the year. He wasn't starting for this team. Instead, it was the rookie Marquise Siegel and Jason Pinnock. But as the season progressed, Ji'Ayir Brown started to play a little bit more. He was hurt throughout training camp and to start the season. And of late, he started to get more snaps. And I thought on Monday Night Football against the Carolina Panthers, he played the best game in a Niners uniform that he has had in his professional career. And who saw this coming, where he would take over, dominate, and he would be named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. That news announced yesterday. And why? He had those 2 interceptions of Bryce Young. And both of those picks for Ji'Ayir Brown came in really big spots. One was in the red zone. The other was when the Panthers were driving, where if they scored on that drive, they could have seized momentum of the ball game. And I was really impressed with those interceptions on those plays by Ji'Ayir Brown because they were both anticipatory plays. On the goal line pick, Bryce Young rolled to his right, and he had a blocker out in front of him. I thought that if he were to angle toward the pylon, he could have just run that touchdown in. And if you go back and rewatch that play, when Young starts to roll to his right, Ji'Ayir Brown starts to get upfield, and it looks as though he might break toward Bryce Young to try to tackle him as a runner. But then Ji'Ayir dropped back in coverage and kind of faked Bryce Young out a little bit and had that huge interception to keep points off the board after Brock Purdy had thrown that interception. And then the second pick for Ji'Ayir Brown, he was just playing deep safety, read the eyes of Bryce Young, and made a beat, made a run on the football, and was able to intercept that pass. And I really like Ji'Ayir Brown when he was a player at Penn State. Penn State used him in a very versatile manner where he played deep safety. He'd play around the line of scrimmage. We've seen the Niners play him in that big nickel spot this season. And I liked his versatility while at Penn State. Prior to working for Chat Sports and covering the Niners, my first season on the beat was in 2021. My last job, I actually covered Penn State football. So I was very familiar with the player. I had him going to the Niners in one of my mock drafts going into the 2023 draft. The Niners needed a safety at that point, and I liked his playing style for San Francisco. And I thought that he played well as a rookie when he stepped in for Talanoa Hufanga, when Hufanga, coming off that all-pro season, had torn his ACL. But last year under Nick Sorensen, he was not good. This year, to start the season, he wasn't good either. And I was hoping that going into this year, Robert Saleh would bring the best out of him. Well, in recent weeks, his snap count has gone up, and hopefully maybe he's starting to turn the corner here. The safety play for the Niners has been bad. So him being good with where he was drafted, obviously, would be a key development for the Niners if he can become an impact player for San Francisco this year. And of course, the final year of his rookie contract next year, because he's a pretty affordable player as well. And here's what Kyle Shanahan had to say about Jier Brown. He's played like this before, so I don't want to say he's just overall improving. I thought he played at a high level when he came in as a rookie and played for us, but I just think stringing together these weeks when you're in and out throughout the offseason with the surgery, he had injuries in training camp, it's hard to just get better each week. And the injuries and him not getting as many snaps probably didn't help him, right? But his poor play was a big reason, on top of the injuries, why he wasn't playing. Early in the year, I really liked how Saleh was utilizing him in that big nickel spot. But now, since Marquise Siegel struggled and he's been a healthy scratch the last several weeks, you've seen Jier Brown step in, and I think you've seen him take some incremental steps forward. Here's what Saleh said about Jier. Teague's been awesome. Or no, sorry, that was from Shanahan. Saleh here, he was unbelievable in our big nickel role, and really just how he handled both those roles, safety, big nickel. We wanted to make sure we gave him an opportunity back at safety before Malik Mustafa came back. And when we did, he did well in that role of big nickel, and he has kept the job and is getting better each and every week. And hopefully he can continue to take steps forward. And hopefully this Panthers game was serving as the big turnaround for Jier Brown in his career. As for some Niners injury news here, these players did not participate in practice on Wednesday. Linebacker Tatum Bethune, high ankle. Sam Okuwanu, high ankle. Kicker Eddie Pinheiro, hamstring. So Tatum Bethune is not going to play. That was expected. He's got that high ankle sprain. He's going to miss some time. Sam Okuwanu got hurt against Carolina with that high ankle sprain. Kyle Shanahan saying he's expected to miss a couple of weeks. This is yet another pass rusher and another defensive end for San Francisco who is going to miss some time. They are already so thin at that position. And so Okuwanu is a player who could play defensive end. He could play defensive tackle. Being without him, obviously, is going to hurt this Niners pass rush, which has already been one of the worst pass rushing units in the NFL. Doesn't help that obviously Nick Bosa is out for the year. Fred Warner is not a pass rushing linebacker. He's an off-ball linebacker and arguably the best to ever do it. But without him, obviously, that hurts your defense. And so Robert Beal back practicing after he was cleared from concussion protocol. The Niners are going to need Beal to play because they're not going to have Okuwanu. And obviously, there's some concern here that Sammy O is going to miss multiple weeks. Shanahan saying, quote, yeah, it's going to be at least a couple of weeks, high ankle sprain, so it's going to take some time. Elsewhere on the injury report, the Niners will not open up the practice window for Brandon Ayuk, Yetur Gross-Matos, or Jacob Cowing this week. Shanahan did say that Gross-Matos is coming along, and that knee injury made him susceptible to other injuries. That's what ended up hurting his hamstring. Even when he was playing to start the year, he wasn't even practicing because of the knee. Then that led to the hammy. What's in front of the hammy? What leads and attaches to the hamstring? The knee. So he's been dealing with a variety of injuries really since he signed that 2-year, $18 million deal with San Francisco. But Shanahan does believe that Gross-Matos could return after the bye week. So the Niners play the Browns Sunday. They have a week 14 bye. They come out of the bye, and they will play the Tennessee Titans. And then we'll round out with this. The Niners yesterday signed linebacker Eric Kendricks to the practice squad. I covered this last night in a long-form video. And obviously he has some Niner ties because Kendricks last year in free agency agreed to a deal with the Niners during that legal tampering period, and he agreed to that contract verbally. Then he spurned the Niners, signed with the Dallas Cowboys, ended up having a pretty good year, but him leaving the Niners and not officially signing with San Francisco led to the Niners signing Devondre Campbell. That signing ended up being a disaster. Devondre Campbell then left the field mid-game because the Niners went with Dre Greenlaw. Devondre Campbell was signed to be the holdover for Dre Greenlaw. So I'm not sure what Devondre Campbell was thinking there. He hadn't played well in the years prior to that signing with the Niners, and then he didn't play well with San Francisco. He still thought that he was an all-pro from a few years ago, but that signing kind of blew up in the Niners' face. Culturally, Devondre Campbell wasn't a fit. But I like this move for San Francisco because they're thin at off-ball linebacker. Fred Warner out for the year. Tatum Bethune also hurt. Curtis Robinson got the start against Carolina. He was targeted 3 times, gave up 3 catches, and was the lowest graded player for the Niners on Monday Night Football. Kendricks has been in the league for 10 years, 9 straight years of over 100 tackles. So he's been durable and he's been consistent. And it wouldn't surprise me if he plays and maybe starts for the Niners on Sunday if he can quickly pick up this defense. So that's the news that I wanted to get it to on this Thursday, November 27th. Appreciate everybody for watching here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give me a follow on all social media platforms, X, Instagram, TikTok, at Chase_Senior. I hope you all have a great day. You take down some phenomenal food, and be on the lookout for more Niners coverage to come right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report.